the hell you doing, Brainiacs? Long Island Iced Tea here, ready to talk programs with you in a major week in the sport of professional wrestling, where someone so deserving finally is getting a crack at a big-time prize. We also had a thrilling documentary debut this week. We got a big announcement about a big return. We've got a birthday to prepare for. We have so much to do this week, Brainiacs. Tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it. Be all about it at the Brainbusters on Instagram Junior, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, BrainbusterRadio.com. This week, Moose the Mark is back, and he is here ready to talk eloquently about professional wrestling. Hopefully, he won't complain too much. And he's going to hopefully give us a review of that Page movie. That other Page movie, Moose, right? Just to be clear.
Oh, hi, Mark. That's right. Paige is, and she's taking the box office by storm with Fighting With My Family, co-starring The Rock for a glorious 7 minutes. I've got a lot to say about this particular film, and I can't wait to get into it.
Moose the Mark's going to get into some Page today, and Jumpin' Jacob J is going to keep us in line and let us know what's causing all this.
Yeah, Long Al, we're going to get to what's causing this in a second, but as we were talking off air before we started this program, I may be playing the role of Moose the Mark, because there was a lot of things that just, really annoyed me about WWE television this week.
Wow.
We don't want to start off on that foot. Let's talk about the road to seemingly what seems like it's Kofimania. Kofi Boom Kingston getting a one-on-one shot against the new Daniel Bryan. I mean, he's had to have a one-on-one title match before, hasn't he? I'm sure it's been a while.
WWE Championship?
It seems like he would have, though. No, this is it.
No! Nope, that's it. Not that. I mean, in the last at least 3 years, no. And after 3 years, when you win as many matches that Kofi Kingston wins in a calendar year, 3 years is way too long to get a shot like this. I am so happy that Kofimania is running wild, and I'm on the Fastlane to it, baby. It is going to be an epic one-on-one encounter. Moose the Mark was even raving about the final sequences of the Elimination Chamber between Kofi and D-Bry. Now, Moose the Mark, we have an entire match to look forward to between the two.
I mean, can you guys think of a better Elimination Chamber match that didn't involve Andrew Test Martin? Because I sure can't.
I don't know.
It was a great ending. I like it whenever the final two guys, it's not wrapped up in 45 seconds. I like whenever it's an actual match, and that is what we got to see.
It was maybe the first 5-star Elimination Chamber match. If you're talking about traditional in the 20x20 Moose the Mark, it was just, there wasn't a lot of chamber massacring in that one, but it was great to see anyway.
I think there was that massive trust fall. There's so many faces just smashed against that unforgiving steel mesh. I mean, I thought it was equally as hardcore as any Elimination Chamber I've ever seen. But more importantly, yes, it did devolve into a one-on-one match, an incredible showdown between these two guys, two world warriors who have been honing their craft for years. I loved it. I can't wait to see Fastlane, and I really hope they keep this momentum going to WrestleMania. Because I don't know who else Daniel Bryan can face. What other competitors? He has chewed up this entire SmackDown roster.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought too. Who would get the title match at WrestleMania on the SmackDown side after this big match at Fastlane? But one thing I wanted to bring up, because Triple J before the show, Brainiacs, saying to me, I don't know how much I have to say about Kofi. It sounds like you're not a believer in Kofimania, Triple J.
Well, listen, I thought Kofi Kingston was due many moons ago whenever he was working that program with Randy Orton, and they were throwing that orange paint on the NASCAR.
Yeah, we're talking about 9 years ago. 9 years.
I thought he was due. Listen, if Kofi Kingston is this over and he's this deserving, then why did it take someone else getting injured to put him in this spot? If he's this deserving and if he should be the number one contender, why wasn't this happening 3 months ago or 6 months ago or 2 years ago?
Because he wasn't given the chance.
This is a sport.
By chance, by someone else's bad fortune, he is getting this shot, and a lot of the SmackDown Live audience, he's the flavor of the month. I don't think this cannot sustain.
Oh my! I disagree. I think Kofi Kingston is beloved. He's one of the
iconic.
I think
August,
he's a Hall
we're
of Famer.
still going to be.
Yes,
I'm
might be
not
talking
saying
about
he's
WWE
not
champion.
a Hall of Famer.
Might be
You
talking
think in
about
August
WWE
people
champion.
are still going to be invested in his character?
He could be WWE champion Kofi Kingston in August. It's very possible. But I am conflicted because I still want to be able to look at that awesome hemp belt. But at the same time, I want Kofi to be the champion. I'm conflicted, Moose the Mark, but I definitely think Kofi's more than a flavor of the month. Kofimania is legit, and it's about time it kicked in. It just needed that little push over the edge. It needed a little bit of momentum to get onto that Fastlane. It needed an opportunity, and with the fall of Mustafa Ali, you get Kofimania. I'm fine with it. I don't care how we got it. It's the fact that it's here, and it's legit.
You want to talk about credibility? You want to talk about legitimacy as far as Kofi Kingston goes? 4-time WWE Intercontinental Champion, 3-time WWE United States Champion, 4-time Raw Tag Team Champion, 3-time SmackDown Tag Champion, 1-time World Tag Team Champion. I mean, what else? He's even got a Slammy Award. He won the Tell Me I Did Not Just See That Moment of the Year 2012. This guy's got more gold that's going to be handed out at the Oscars tonight. You want to talk legitimacy? This guy is long overdue to get a shot at the big belt.
Yeah, I don't know why Triple J's just kind of thinking this is like some just moment in time. This is a long time coming, Kofimania, and it's here and it's going to last. And Triple J, let me also tell you this. Maybe if Moose the Mark goes ahead and makes a documentary like the one they made about Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw, maybe your mind will be changed if there was a Brock doc style about Kofi Kingston.
Well, yeah, if it was that good, definitely I would change my mind. I mean, listen, it's going to be a great one-on-one wrestling match, which is my favorite kind of wrestling match. And the fans are, they're going to be cheering for one guy and they're going to be booing for somebody else. There's not going to be any of this.
Ask for?
There's not going to be any of this in between stuff or chanting both these guys. So that's definitely something good.
Moose the Mark, you kind of got going there, reeling off all those accomplishments for Kofi. That was like as many as Brock Lesnar has. I think there's something there. Maybe you could get on the video production team there together and maybe start Marburger Videos and make us a Kofi Kingston doc. I'd love to watch it.
Well, I would only make documentaries if I was allowed to go out on a stage, talk about what I'm going to talk about in the documentary, and then play the documentary.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Long Island Iced Tea, and I'd like to show you a documentary right now. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Long Island Iced Tea. Welcome to the documentary.
And then we play part 2 in the next hour.
Well, while Kofimania is running wild, Triple J, their Monday Night Raw, one of the most talked about Monday Night Raws in a long time. I probably would say for all the wrong reasons. A lot of you angry young males, especially on the internet, upset about Monday Night Raw, but it did feature something that I'm pretty sure Vin Man is not here today because he's spanking it still to the Brock docs that aired, the 2-part Brock doc. Is there more Brock doc coming, Triple J? Did they say that wait for part 3 or anything?
I don't remember anything about that, but it's not out of the realm.
I mean, the Brock doc was really, really good, but Moose the Mark, you and the angry young male demographic were upset on the internet saying how many different ways can they shove Brock Lesnar's accomplishments and how unstoppable he is in our face. How many different ways can they do it? Well, they did it in a documentary style, which I thought was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's there's so many other ways they could do it. They could do a podcast about Brock Lesnar and just give us a QR code to download it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to direct you towards the Titantron to observe a podcast I made about the Universal Champion.
Yeah. Maybe like a series of haikus or a soliloquy, a sonnet maybe. I mean, there's so many avenues of communication.
A pop-up children's book.
When it comes to Brock, I mean, what about a message converted to Morse code and binary that's beamed out into distance reaches of outer space so that aliens will someday find out about Brock Lesnar in 800 million light years.
I mean, it didn't really tell us anything that we didn't know. It just reaffirmed everything that we know already.
You got to do that every other week because Brock Lesnar's never on the show, so you have to remind people about him. So I thought that was great. The Cajun Dome crowd, though, while they watched it, I don't know how they took to it. I really couldn't hear them at all. Does that say something about the Lafayette professional wrestling crowd there in the middle of Louisiana, Moose the Mark? A lot of talk about them.
Well, I mean, I know, I am not in a position to talk about the Lafayette, Louisiana wrestling crowd, unlike certain people on this show who are deeply involved with the local scene. I mean, what is Lafayette's relationship with pro wrestling? Is it like a Japanese audience where they're not very vocal, but they're still just sitting rapt attention and clap politely after everything? I mean, what was going on?
It's not like Japan at all. No, you get some loud people, but they're very respectful there. It's a lot of chirping out loud, but not a lot of chanting. There's random, people will say random things. That's how they like to observe it. And if someone's really heinous, if there's a real shit heel, then people in Lafayette might try to stab them or fight them themselves. But nobody was really acting that rude to the crowd, so they weren't really that volatile. So they kind of sat on their hands and were just observant of Monday Night Raw, which I don't find anything wrong with. I mean, a lot of people so upset about that crowd, Triple J.
I mean, I've heard that crowd get really hot for the Mexican Giant. So,
also,
this just wasn't their night.
And Samoa Joe wasn't there, and that's their favorite in that town.
Right.
So nobody's more loved in Cajun country than Samoa Joe. So I know from experience. So maybe that contributed to it. But the Brock doc, while I watched that, all I could think about was all the nasty things Vin Man must have been doing while watching it, Triple J.
Yeah, well, I really don't want to think about those things if you do. So can we move on to...
I don't want to think about it. It just comes to mind. I just said, he's got to be his pants around the ankles, kind of like you during a moment of bliss. It's everybody has their thing.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that either. But let's move on to something that's going to happen this Monday night. I believe we are in Atlanta.
I think that's sexist.
Oh, we're going to have a birthday celebration in
We're
Atlanta.
in Turner country, all right?
Yeah, we're in Hotlanta, as the cool kids say. And I don't know if the cool kids say that anymore. But Moose the Mark, Ric Flair's 70th birthday bash on Raw. He had a surprise party thrown by Triple H, and a ton of celebrities were there. I'm pretty sure that Ric Flair's good friend Quavo was there as well. I mean, everybody was there at Ric Flair's party. What do you think the celebration on Raw is going to be like compared to that?
I mean, my God, it's going to be hard to top. You had Charles Barkley. You had Chris Jericho.
Wait, where is there footage out there? I didn't hear about this till right now.
Yeah, there's like one reporter from ESPN who was there and like tweeted a video of Ric Flair and Fifi making their entrance to the big party and stuff.
They were having a great time. Yeah.
And you're not going to believe this. When Ric Flair walked into that party, like Ric Flair, Richard Morgan Flair, and please believe me because I've seen this with my own eyes, he actually cried.
Can you believe
actually?
it?
Oh my, Ric Flair cried.
No.
Oh my God!
I couldn't believe
it. At least it was probably respectful crying and not ugly crying.
Woo. And he started dancing, but yeah, I mean, I was shocked that he cried, Triple J. I mean, you haven't seen this yet. You haven't seen this yet, but if you don't want the image of Ric Flair as this stout, stoic, really strong individual, I don't advise you watching this because seeing him cry is a little shocking.
It's
well, then maybe I won't watch it.
It's a lot of 2 years ago, I didn't know if I was going to be here, and now that you guys are all here, and Ashley's here, and it's just amazing.
And Rick, what'd you think about Evander Holyfield being there?
Oh yeah, I forgot Evander Holyfield was there. Evander Holyfield is just like one of those guys. They came out, every day. He's out there with the Horsemen. He's getting on the plane. Making the next town, go out at night, do it all over again the next day. Evander he's just one of those guys, man.
And I like that he tells, in the video, if you watch it, Triple J, Ric Flair sees Holyfield, hugs him, and then he tells Triple H, he was living in the Crown Plaza. I was living there. He was in the doghouse, and I was there just living there. And we were neighbors in the hotel, living there. It's really good video.
What a party.
Happy birthday, Ric Flair.
It's probably going to pale to comparison in what is in store for this Monday. But am I the only one that thinks that the man is going to crash the man's party?
What? What are you talking about?
You don't think Becky Lynch is going to show up?
No.
She's suspended.
What does that even? What does that mean in pro wrestling anymore? Because I understand she was not on this week's show, but she's been everywhere else that she's been suspended.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. Charlotte's going to be at this. Of course, it's her father's birthday.
So Charlotte's there. That means Becky's going to be there.
Well,
trying
because
to raise hell.
Terrible security is all I could chalk it up to. But this is a big birthday bash for Ric Flair. The security will be tight. You know, you got all the celebrities that are going to be there. You're going to have Migos. You're going to have Evander Holyfield. Charles Barkley's probably going to be there. Ted Turner might show up. I mean, you're going to have a lot of famous people.
Who's going to be popping out of the cake?
Out of the cake? Maybe Fifi or Charlotte. I don't know. Or who knows?
I don't think you want your own daughter popping out of a birthday cake, do you?
Some men would like to see their daughter in that way. I don't know if Ric Flair's one of them, but there are a lot. I'd like to see Charlotte popping out of anywhere, but hopefully her arm's healed up as well. Had a nasty bruise from that vicious, attack by Becky Lynch, which there was no call for. She's suspended, and hopefully, even if she's trying to get there, the WWE's taken measures because, I mean, you're right, Triple J. It has been ridiculous that the suspension makes no sense because we keep seeing Becky on our TV, and I don't want to see suspended superstars on my TV.
Well, I want to see her on the TV, but more importantly, I just want to see rules followed.
That's true. I know, especially you. Yes, Mr. Mark.
One sad note about this birthday party is that there's one guest who doesn't look like he's going to be attending anymore. The enforcer, Arn Anderson, no longer with the company. I mean, one of Ric Flair's best friends, one of the seminal member of the Horsemen, not going to be there for Ric Flair's huge 70th birthday celebration. I mean, it kind of questions the legitimacy of the whole event.
Well, I'm sure Double A was at the surprise party. This is the WWE sponsored party for Ric Flair. It's like, some people get to have multiple birthday parties, and they're fortunate that way. And so, like some people have their work friends throw them a birthday party, and also they'll have one with their family. So this is kind of like Ric Flair's work friends and the family friends were the surprise party. I'm not one of those multi birthday party people, but I know there are people who do like an entire week of birthday parties to celebrate themselves. Triple J, are you one of those people?
No, I'm just a one and done guy, preferably on the day of my birth.
Good for nothing.
I don't celebrate it all week long.
I think that's sexist.
I mean, you could celebrate as much as you want, but I'm just for different strokes, I guess. Triple J and I are one and done guys. How about you, Moose the Mark? Are you like Ric Flair, where you need to have multiple birthdays in your honor or parties?
I just don't acknowledge my birthdays happening. Ever since I turned 29, I've just kind of been ignoring the next birthday. Hoping to put it off.
Are you saying that because every day you get to be on Reddit is like your birthday? I mean,
hi, Mark.
You get to voice your opinion every single week. Do you think your opinion after Monday Night Raw and Ric Flair's 70th birthday celebration, Moose the Mark, do you think your opinion is going to be, where was Becky Lynch? Why didn't she show up? It makes perfect sense for Becky to be there and ruin the party.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to be saying that because I really don't think that Becky will not be making an appearance. There's
a lot of say that in proper English. It was very confusing the way you phrased that.
Like it's quadruple negative. I would be surprised if Becky did not show up to this celebration party. I mean, look, maybe she's not going to mess it up. She doesn't necessarily have to bring a cane and start cracking people in the back and shoulder. I mean, she could come say, Ric Flair, I respect you, but I don't respect your daughter. But other than that, have a great birthday, and I'll see you later. What's wrong with that?
This was the man that, put a big lip lock on her just to try to help his own daughter win a match. I mean, I don't think you'll see that on the network, but I remember seeing it with my own two eyes.
Do you think, I remember that moment. A lot of people forget that when Ric Flair planted one on Becky. Is there a way that he might have like sexually transmitted being the man to Becky Lynch, and ever since she's thought she was the man?
I don't have
the doctor is in a torta coma today. I'd ask him if that was medically possible, but Dr. Calzones
Triple M is out of action.
Sorry, Dr. Triple M is just totally passed out here on our audio board, and the Sultan of social media. A man called Wired. He's not here today, but Triple J. He was telling me how everybody on the social media gimmicks thinks Becky Lynch is going to ruin this party. I just don't see it happening because I want to believe in the rules, but you feel like rules are just not respected anymore.
I do. That's what I feel. And, a number of weeks ago, I brought up in my Falls Count Anywhere of how Honor is coming back to Ring of Honor, and these officials are going to be given so much more power. I think that's something all the promotions need to start adopting. And I mean, for God's sakes, just hire out security and end this thing. All right, do your time, and then we'll see you whenever you're back.
I think they're commissioned to AEW though. I think that's one signing that AEW really beat WWE to.
Needs a lot of security right now.
You don't think they need a lot of security right now?
Well, until they're running shows, no.
Have you seen their press conferences? They keep breaking out into, violence.
I saw the pool party, but those aren't happening every day.
Oh, I disagree. You got to have good security at all times. WWE.
You think Atlas Security is just at Cody Rhodes' house, and there's two people in Rancho Cucamonga just guarding the driveway?
Yes, and they're probably also at all the shows the Young Bucks keep showing up at. And yeah, you got to have good security. WWE has no security. It feels like. Where's the guy, Moose the Mark, with the cool, cabbie hat backwards, the leather cabbie hat backwards? Where's that guy? Where's the big buff guy or that lady who beat up Gronk at WrestleMania? Where's security?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like WWE has been recruiting their security from people who are, under 205 pounds and know how to do a lot of flips and fall on the floor with their body spread out to maximize the impact, but they're not really focusing on people who can actually, lock down a rebelling person.
This is an issue, and the Becky Lynch issue. Was that Finn Balor you said was going to – it sounded like Finn Balor was going to interrupt this party, not Becky earlier, Moose the Mark, when you were kind of giving us a sneak peek of what might happen.
Look, sure I have one Irish accent.
All right, well that's fine. Just as long as you state who you're doing before you do it. So Becky Lynch, not Finn Balor. I am Becky. This is gonna be an epic moment, I do think, because either way, if Becky interrupts it, it's gonna be an iconic moment for her. If she doesn't, it's gonna be an iconic moment because let's not forget it's Ric Flair. It's his 70th birthday. It should be all about him. And maybe some of the old-time Ric Flair fans are going to be really mad at Becky Lynch if she does that. Could this move, if she does that, make her a heel, Triple J?
I don't think so. I really don't, especially from the audience that's going to be tuning in every week. I don't think she's going to outright disrespect Ric Flair, but she's probably going to say something like Moose the Mark was saying, that she still has a lot of beef with Flair's baby girl.
Oh, she does. I mean, that, and Charlotte owes her one too. That bruise is disgusting. And then you got, Ronda, who knows what she'll be doing. I'm sure she'll be respectful of Ric Flair. She's very respectful to this business, Triple J.
Well, she'll put on a nice act,
As much as you want to believe she won't. Then, over on the SmackDown side, real quick, I know Triple J, this is going out of order, but, Asuka, she's just waiting for challengers, but she did suffer a very shocking loss. That women's championship, I have no idea what's going to happen with that. Is Mandy Rose in line?
She's got to be. I don't know what other conclusion that the McMahons could draw from this. I still don't know how Asuka did not, easily win that match after just cutting a great promo. But yeah, I mean, Mandy has to be the number one contender, I would think.
That's an insane notion over there. And then, you've got Monday Night Raw and SmackDown this week featuring some very interesting things that people are talking about, but probably most of all that we haven't touched upon yet. Triple J, I'm sure you want us to get into the NXT's call-ups, the All-Stars of NXT joining Raw and SmackDown this week.
Yeah, I do want to talk about that. And before I throw it to Moose to Mark for his insight and, what Uncle Dave Shorley said about this, it just seemed very odd. Like, we had those call-ups, those highly touted call-ups a number of weeks ago. It's probably like 8 weeks ago or something, where they were supposed to decide which brand they're going to be signed to. The courtship has still not been finalized, apparently, because they're still showing up on both programs. And now you got a new crop of guys just seemingly out of nowhere. It still was after the Elimination Chamber, but it's not like it was after WrestleMania or after SummerSlam. Some guys that, they still have to be on the NXT roster because they hold championship, or at least held championship gold on that program. So it was just very odd to me. Moose to Mark, can you smarten us up at all about why this happened so abruptly and out of order?
Well, I mean, this is sort of Vince McMahon's response to the falling ratings. He thinks the answer is, I need more wrestlers. Talent's too stale. I got to bring up all these guys. Who are the best wrestlers in that NXT thing that I apparently own? I mean, this is it. It was just a whim. Vince McMahon woke up one day, chowed down on a steak wrap with ketchup and said, Paul, bring me the best 4 guys you got from NXT. We're going to put them on the main roster. We're not going to do vignettes or anything like that. We're just going to make them win. And when they've been doing, it's been working. I think if I was, Otis and Tucker and EC3, I'd be a little nervous because it seems like, they're the new flavor of the week now. And I just had to come on Raw and lose a bunch of times and not talk. And now these other guys are getting to kick ass and beat people.
I mean, I think it's clear that Aleister Black and Ricochet, they did not have anything left to do in the NXT territory. So they were obvious call-ups. But talk to us about 2 guys who at that point both held championship gold, and they just put them back together in a tag team without that Raw audience knowing, very much at all about their history.
Well, I mean, Jesus, how do you even show the history between Gargano and Ciampa? We already saw one documentary on that episode. I don't think they had room for another one.
Well, then just don't call them up. Don't try to cram that story in yet. I mean, this tag team had 2 huge wins over a tag team champion and the former tag team champion. I think you have to keep continuing to showcase them on Raw after what they did in this past week.
I mean, yes, you do, but it's also, just look at how that Lafayette crowd reacted. It's sad to say, but these people, the Raw audience is apparently not watching that much NXT. They don't understand the long history behind Team DIY and Gargano and Ciampa and all those matches with 5 stars and such. No, that's prologue, man. That doesn't count. That's almost non-canon as far as your average Raw viewer is concerned.
Can I interject? Have I allowed you guys to go on with your
I'm just confused.
Bullshit negativity this entire conversation about the NXT call?
I'm very strong on these new guys.
But also talking about my man Otis and Tucker. I mean, and what about all the other NXT? I mean, EC3 has made an impact. I know that Triple J's had one, and I have one, #RockHardDick, since we were teased with a live sex show between Alexa Bliss and EC3. You've got not only the guys this week, but the people prior are still on our minds. They're entertaining us
sexist.
More and more every week. And then this week, a different kind of call-up. You get the All-Stars of NXT, and I think there's still stuff in NXT. There's business all over. You're not limited in this new McMahon era, Triple J, to just one show. I mean, we could still see Johnny wrestling and Tommaso Ciampa go at it in NXT or finish up their business. I mean, who knows? Maybe Johnny Gargano will get a North American title rematch. He just lost to the Velveteen Dream. But Aleister Black, he has issues with the Undisputed Era still.
Yeah.
And he's also going to Raw and SmackDown. These guys, are they spreading themselves thin? Maybe. But they're trying to make an impact everywhere they go. And then you got Ricochet going up there, having an amazing moment on Monday Night Raw, cutting great promos as well, letting everybody know that he's the one and only, and he's there, and Finn Balor stamp of approval, so you could trust Ricochet if you've never seen him before, like Moose is talking about. People who don't know NXT, or they don't watch the NXT, Moose the Mark, they don't know Ricochet. Now they do. I thought they were great, impactful debuts this week. I'm so hyped for everybody who's been called up from NXT for the last few months, and it's going to be incredible to see which one of them outshines the other. I mean, all of them had great weeks, big wins this week, but I can't pinpoint who is going to have the most success, really, because I'm not basing it on what they did on NXT. We're looking ahead here, guys, and it's all positive, I think, for all these talented individuals and tag teams that have been called up. And don't sit on heavy machinery, Moose the Mark. Once they get their opportunity, just like Kofi Kingston, they could change the game.
I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. The future is nothing but bright for all these superstars. It's just, you can't focus. You can't focus on so many things at once. Like there's only, there's Raw only has 3 hours. SmackDown only has 2 hours. I mean,
it's a bummer. It's only
where it's standing you right now. Where's all these other call-ups that came up and just they're on main event now because there's just nothing for them to do. It's not like they have heat or that they suck. It's just like, well, we're looking at someone we're focused on these other people right now. They can't fart and chew gum at the same time. That's a big problem.
Yeah, is it a problem? I mean, all you have to do, it's proven, is just patiently wait 11 years and you'll get your shot, just like Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
So to Eric
That's
Young,
all you've got to do.
I got to tell him, just keep grinding, keep it up with sanity, and maybe in, 2030, he'll get his title shot at Fastlane, Triple J.
Yeah, I do like all the guys that they quote unquote called up. We'll have to see what this looks like forward. Like I said, it's just confusing to me.
The hell's going on?
Wow, what an amazing performance!
I mean, that was different. It's a different
I buy a
way
ticket to go see her wrestle.
It's a different way to get us. You don't know. Not everybody needs vignettes. That's these days. That's what I like about these. I'm going to do what Triple J does here. The quote unquote call ups of NXT. Not everybody needs to be called up the same way, right, Triple J? That's what makes it interesting and fun, but everybody gets mad when people get just thrown on TV and put in matches versus getting a bunch of vignettes versus walking out to their entrance theme and then just walking right back into the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, it was confusing the first time, but it's growing on me. It's, it's like
there's a lot growing.
If you hear the same jingle over and over again, you're not going to forget.
I think that's sexist.
Act like, we've been singing that song, but we changed the lyrics. We say act like wired, act like wired. But now you got the WWE Universe acting like a lady, and they're going to be doing that for some time. These NXT call-ups are so good. I can't put my finger on whom will be the most successful. Can you guys?
I have some thoughts, but I don't just like to give that information away for free.
What do you mean? You want me to pay you for your opinion?
Either pay me or else I'd like to administer some pain to somebody else.
Jesus. Okay. I'll go ahead. I'll handle it. Sorry. Dr. Calzonis just walked out to go take a dump. I'm going to run the audio here. Actually, that's a good excuse for me. If I'm going to take the controls now, if you want to administer some pain, Triple J, well, this is Brainbuster Radio. The way you could do that is if you pose down. Do you have an opponent in mind?
Listen, there's been many victims in my career.
You are the Royal Rumble winner.
I am. There's many opponents that I have brewed and battered and victimized, but none more than the other man on this program, Moose the Mark. I feel like we have some unfinished business, and I'd like to really take it out on him.
You're calling me out? We have all these other people in this room right now, and you're calling me out, Triple J?
You know what, Moose the Mark? Take that as a compliment that I'm picking out the biggest, baddest man in the room that I want to take down.
Brainiacs, you didn't see it coming, just like all your favorite NXT superstars on Monday Night Raw. Right now, not planned whatsoever on Brainbuster Radio. The Royal Rumble winner, Brainbuster Radio 2019 Triple J, has just challenged Moose the Mark to a good old-fashioned Super Posedown right now on Brainbuster Radio.
Get ready for the Super Posedown.
All right, Brainiacs, Super Posedown right now. Triple J versus Moose the Mark. And this is going to be violent, vicious, and ruthless, because both of these guys aren't going to back down, Brainiacs. It's going to be incredible NXT call-ups, quote-unquote call-ups this week. The question, which of them is going to be the most successful in WWE? Triple J, you're up first.
Yeah, we've had all these call-ups lately, and, if again, the question is, which of these NXT call-ups will achieve the most? Not who's the best athlete or who's the best wrestler. If I had to go with that one, obviously the answer is Aleister Black. But unfortunately, to answer this question correctly, that is not who I'm going to go with. The people do not know Johnny Gargano, Johnny Badass, Johnny Takeover, or Johnny Wrestling. They're going to need to be able to know this guy. Take time, which is going to take time for this underdog. Tommaso Ciampa, he may be the greatest sports entertainer of all the times, but right now, coming up to Raw to an audience that doesn't know him, he just looks like another guy with a really big, unkept beard. That's why the answer for this one is Ricochet. Ricochet, he does the flashy moves. The kiddies are going to love him. The girlfriends are going to love him. The moms are going to love him. The wives are going to love him. He's going to push merchandise because he can do gymnastics in the ring. And that's why Ricochet is going to achieve the most.
Triple J showing a bias towards someone from the middle of nowhere, Petula, Kentucky's own Ricochet.
Triple J, in a perfectly rational world, you might be right. Ricochet might be the next big superstar coming out of WWE, but you're not seeing the big picture. You're not tapped into the dirt. You're not tapped into the backstage info and the gossip and everything that everything that I know says that the WWE is going to make Lacey Evans their next big star. The holy trinity of WWE in the future is going to be Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Lacey Evans. It may not be what you want to see. It may not be what the WWE universe wants to see, but it's what Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn wants to see, and that's what we're going to get.
It's a very pessimistic, sarcastic viewpoint, but Moose the Mark was very convincing.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Have we not learned anything this entire show? Kofi Kingston was what's causing this. What did Kofi Kingston start out as? He started out as a Jamaican boom boomer on the new ECW program who got over because he was athletic. He came out smiling to the crowd and he jumped over the top rope. Look at Ricochet. This guy in 11 years is going to be going one-on-one with the WWE champion at a minor pay-per-view. Ricochet, this guy, he's going to capture U.S. title gold. He's going to capture tag team gold, intercontinental gold, and never world championship material gold. I don't think, and hopefully he stays away from 205 Live. So yes, Ricochet is going to be achieving the most. 11 years to the day. Put it on your calendar, headlining a pay-per-view.
Triple J kind of went against his own argument there, but he did it doing a 900. What a flip, jumping, flipping Jacob J.
Look, yes, Kofi Kingston did ignite the scene when he first debuted, and so did so many other superstars. But that was a very long time ago. Kofi Kingston has been in WWE for 11 years. The world has changed since then, inside and outside of the WWE universe. Things are different now. We don't just see, oh, this guy's smiles a lot and he can do a flip and a handstand, I'm going to buy a t-shirt. That's not how it works anymore. I want Ricochet to be the biggest star in WWE. I truly do. But, you know, it's about telling stories, Triple J. It's not just about flips and smiling and cool tattoos and neat music. It's about connecting with the crowd. It's about slapping on a rest hold for 7 minutes and making facial expressions so the people in Lafayette, Louisiana can connect to you. You know, it's about charging at your opponent and they move out of the way, so you run shoulder first into the barricade, making people really believe that you are this indestructible force. I mean, it's a completely new sport right now, Triple J, and I don't know if a smiling flippy guy has a role in it, unlike, say, a Marine veteran, a mother, and a lady like Lacey Evans.
Musta Mark is acting like a lady. What a women's right to Triple J. This match is over. Brainiacs, the results are in from this one, and we have a huge upset. I mean, we were talking about the winner of the Royal Rumble, all the momentum in Brainbuster Radio 2019 going into this one. And Triple J goes into it against Moose the Mark, who everyone thought had no chance. And what are you handing me, Triple J? What is this? Nope, never mind. You guys ready for headlines?
Let's get into it.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Yeah, totally. This week on Brainbuster Radio Headlines, we got a new dad gimmick in the WWE, new Hall of Famers in the WWE, a movie review, and the return of the Big Dog. The Big Dog. Brainbuster Radio Headlines this week, Brainiacs, brought to you by Marburger Road Agents. Marburger Road Agents. The best road agents in the entire business. If you need a road agent for your show moving to network television, call us and we will cast you the best road agents in the world. Marburger Road Agents, Hollywood, California, 90210. All right, let's go. Big Dog, first and foremost, returning to Monday Night Raw to give us an update on his status. This is great news, Triple J.
It is great news. I'm not sure if they just needed a big rating boost, so they had to call in the big guns. But if Roman Reigns is going to be on Raw addressing his health status, it has to be good news. You're not going to come out there and say, well, the status is the same as it was 4 months ago. You're not going to do that. So he's got to be closer. Really, what I hope happens is at the end of the show, Vince McMahon comes out and he removes Seth Rollins from that main event of WrestleMania. And he says, we need Roman Reigns.
Big Dog would be the greatest moment in the history of Raw since Charlotte replaced Becky Lynch in the main event of WrestleMania.
I mean, Moose, do you see it that way? Is this just a ratings boost, or are we very close to the Big Dog stepping back into the ring?
I mean, look, you want to talk about, the WrestleMania main event and that scenario potentially happening. I mean, look, this is WWE. This is WrestleMania. WrestleMania is built around giving you dream matches you never thought you would ever see.
It's also built around the Big Dog.
The Big Dog.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already learned that the winner of the Royal Rumble doesn't get a main event at WrestleMania. They've just rewritten the rules.
Well, it's the new era. It's a new McMahon era, Triple J.
Yeah, that's right. Triple J. This is the new era. There's no rematch clause anymore. You have to hold the tag rope and keep your feet on the apron for a legal tag. I mean, we are in a new era of this sport. Things are changing. And yeah, maybe the Royal Rumble winner doesn't main event Mania anymore. I don't know. It's 2019. Things are changing. But you know what's not changing is that WrestleMania 35 is going to be the Big Dog.
Big Dog.
Finally, at long last, in that dream match against Brock Lesnar.
Oh, could you imagine if that shit happened? The Big Dog and Brock Lesnar one last time at WrestleMania. It can only happen in a city as big as New York, too. Oh my God, please be. Let's. Can Can I take the rest of the show off and just pray for this to happen? I don't normally do that. I'm just gonna. Okay, I'll finish this.
It is Sunday, so
I'll finish.
You should be praying
show.
anyway.
I'll finish the show, but I'm gonna keep my hands in prayer. I'm gonna keep my hands prayed up the entire time, and all my texts I send anyone until Monday are gonna be with those prayer hand emojis, praying for the big dog.
I thought they were gonna all end it with like Matthew 24:6 or something.
Oh no, I'm not getting into any kind of scripture. Okay. I pray in my own way, but I'm praying for the big dog.
The big dog.
This is great. It's not a ratings grab, Triple J. Don't bring that up. I know you probably were on.
Well, I mean, ratings are definitely going to improve regardless.
Well, of course, it's the big dog. But the reason this is happening is because there's probably a legitimate update, and it is also in his hometown, at least, where the big dog resides, in Atlanta, Georgia. Which makes sense.
That's solid reasoning.
So let's hope for great news with the big dog on Monday Night Raw, but that's easily the best news of the week, right, Triple J? There's nothing that's going to beat that.
No, nothing that's going to beat that.
But there's a lot of news this week, including new road agents in the WWE. None of them were hired from the Marburger Road Agency, but these guys all have experience. Triple J, I know you love watching the WWE Performance Center YouTube channel now. You watched some interviews with our new road agents that are, taking Arn Anderson. One of them's at least taking Arn Anderson's spot. But what are your thoughts on the new guys who are going to be producing some of the segments and matches on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live?
I like them all. I really do. I don't think this is necessarily a situation of Arn Anderson not doing his job. It's just let this guy enjoy his retirement, spend the time with his grandkids, working around the house, doing whatever you want to. So, yeah, you've got Joseph Parks, Sugar Shane Helms, Sean Navari, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt. I think is that all that was featured in the short video clip, or was there anyone else?
I think you hit them all. Sanjay Dutt and Jeff Jarrett are just kind of shocking to me. One, because Sanjay Dutt was like literally one of the main guys backstage at Impact Wrestling less than a year ago, and Jeff Jarrett, who the hell would have ever thought Global Force Wrestling would not last, and Jeff Jarrett would end up working for WWE? I can't believe it.
I mean, no, it's great. Everything's coming full circle. I mean, more so than Jeff Jarrett. I mean, let's face it, WWE likes to make nice with pretty much everybody after a while. It doesn't matter if you hold them up for a pay-per-view payday or start some of their biggest competition in the last decade. They'll forgive you. What's really exciting is someone who never really got a shot in the WWE, and that's Joseph Parks, a.k.a. Abyss, which is very interesting because all these other guys, they know the WWE style. They know how to tell stories, and they know how to tell people to put on rest holds and make facial expressions. But Joseph Park, I mean, this guy has wrestled a style we haven't really seen in WWE in quite some time, and I'm hoping he could bring a little bit of that hardcore ingenuity to the main roster.
Well, I mean, Long Island, you can back me up if I'm correct on this, but I believe that Joseph Parks, Abyss, he was on JR's podcast, and I guess there was an offer. There was a working deal on the table for him to come up to New York that just wasn't right for him.
Yeah, he once upon a time he could have, but he said it's odd because in the video he said he's always wanted to join WWE, but back then he was. I mean, when you were working as the top guy and back Impact Wrestling with Abyss at his peak. Impact Wrestling was not far behind WWE.
Oh, he was working with Sting, AJ Styles in the main event.
He was working with plenty of great, talented, wrestlers. He was in the main event. Impact Wrestling was not on the same level as WWE, but they were doing good business, and he was a cornerstone. So why do that and take the risk that go to WWE and maybe a lot of people are afraid to make that jump, and he kind of I wouldn't say was afraid, but he made a smart business decision. Now, the twilight of his career, you got Abyss. Is he going to be restricted to just giving Braun Strowman pointers on how to land on thumbtacks, Moose the Mark? Or do you think we might actually see him get in the ring one last time?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not like there's a long tradition of WWE using their producers to get in the ring. Although, I mean, J&J Security haven't been around for a while, and now that we're in this new era, maybe Vince McMahon and the new authority, meaning us, need some protection of our own in the form of Joseph Parks.
Are there any TNA Hall of Famers other than Gail Kim still with the company?
In Impact?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have that list up.
Who are Hall of Famers there? Christian, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, Gail Kim,
Sting, Team 3D.
Team 3D.
Joseph
Yeah,
Parks.
Just
I think
Kim.
Hebner. I don't know. Is Hebner still there? What didn't they do him one year?
Yeah, I think Hebner's there. So you got Earl Hebner too, and Gail Kim. But now you got Abyss, one of the standout of all those. I mean, what could he? I hope he's doing more than just being backstage. I hope maybe Braun Strowman needs a good lawyer. He deserves a title match. He needs a good lawyer. Maybe you'll have Paul Heyman and Joseph Parks cutting promos on each other.
This is just, folks, whether you like it or not, we are in a different era. Obviously the cutthroat era, but I know, Long Island, you don't want me to bring that up right now.
No.
I mean, remember the days of old, whenever there was a big fight breaking out or they needed more security, you would see Arn Anderson out there, or Terry Taylor or Jerry Briscoe, and now you're going to see the Hurricane, Daivari, and the original player from the Himalaya going out there to break up a big scuffle.
And of course, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. He'll always
he'll still be there.
This is exciting stuff. It's Moose the Mark. Why are so many backstage people being hired? Can you let the Brainiacs know what the reasoning is? Because they're not replacing too many people. They're additions.
I mean, well, it's the same reason they have 28 writers. It's just WWE sees, all these other real shows have all these people on staff, so we need to have more people on staff. Also, it's to prevent them from being producers over at AEW. You can't forget that. I mean, WWE's modus operandi is just to sign talent and sit on them so that other people can't use them. See, for example, 205 Live.
Wow. Are you accusing the WWE of employing WCW tactics against their competition right now?
Yes, I am.
I don't know if there's any evidence for that. I mean, these are just solid hires that are going to make the product better, aren't they?
Oh, sure they are, but most jobs you fill one slot, you interview 5 people, and you pick the best one. You don't just give 5 people jobs unless you're trying to keep them from getting jobs somewhere else.
So you think that some people are being hired and they're just not going to do anything? They're just going to be showing up, collecting a paycheck, and not being asked to do shit?
No, they're going to go there and they're going to be like, okay, Finn, then you're going to put Leo Rush in a headlock and you're going to really sell those facial expressions. And then Bobby Lashley's going to run at you, but you're going to move and he's going to hit his shoulder in the corner. That's going to give you the chance to capitalize on this guy. I mean, no, they work very hard at laying out these dynamic and innovative matches.
Okay.
Well, I'd really like to hear what Shane Helms would be telling some of the guys on 205 Live backstage.
Before we talk about what the Hurricane's going to be doing on 205, let me just clarify for Moose the Mark that Finn Balor would never let anyone run in and hit their shoulder into the post, okay? He would slide out to the apron and kick them in the head. Let me just first clarify that. That's what happens when you run into the corner against Finn Balor. As for Shane Gregory Helms, he'd be telling the 205 Livers, go out there. Now you're going to go and you want Humberto Carrillo to join you and Jack Gallagher, Drew Gulak, but you don't want him to be a high flyer. Okay, that's the great thing about it, is that you're trying to get him to not wrestle his style. And everybody's going to be like, don't do it, Humberto. It's great. Good storyline. I'm excited. There were some releases, though. One road agent, Arn Anderson, this week was let go by WWE, and on some other spring cleaning that they're calling it. Ty Dillinger, TJP, the first Cruiserweight champion ever, and Hideo Itami, all officially released from WWE, Moose the Mark. What do you expect from those individuals next, and why do you think they were released?
I mean, like you said, Long Island, it's spring cleaning. I mean, Hideo Itami, as sad to say, his WWE career didn't really work out, mostly due to injuries. No real mishandling of him, and he just wants to go back to Noah. And as long as he's going to be in Japan and not in All Elite Wrestling, I don't think WWE has a problem giving his release. Ty Dillinger's an interesting case. He asked for his release rather publicly, right? Didn't he say it on Twitter? I've asked for my release.
He did, and he's married or going to marry a current WWE superstar, Triple J's sister. I
can't wait to go.
Peyton Royce.
I'm happy for those two kids.
Peyton Royce and Ty Dillinger, that's an interesting case. You're right, Moose the Mark, because his wife or soon-to-be wife is still with the company, but he's leaving. Where does he go next? We understand why. Obviously, he was very I wouldn't say underutilized. He just wasn't patient enough, like Kofi Kingston. But
well, he's been in development. Yeah, I think even back to OVW for a long time.
People are saying, Ty Dillinger's waited a long time. He's 38 years old, but people forget, AJ Styles is 41. Triple J.
Yeah, you're right.
So what's next for Ty Dillinger, Moose the Mark?
I don't know. Here's the thing. You talk about, look, WWE wrestlers make a lot of money. Peyton Royce is probably making a lot of money. I don't know if they need a dual income family. If they want to see each other, why not just have Ty Dillinger be a stay-at-home dad and let Peyton Royce pay the bills with her WWE salary? You don't have to leave WWE and go around to high school gyms and VSWs killing yourself for a hot dog and a handshake. Maybe it's okay, I was a wrestler. I had a good run. I made some good money. My wife's still a wrestler now. She should have been the first ever women's tag team champion. So why don't I just sit on my laurels and, keep the house nice and clean?
I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think you doubt Ty Dillinger. This guy has heart.
He was perfect 10.
He wasn't utilized, so he wants to go somewhere else. And Musa Mark, let me ask you, you think Kenta's going to go back to Noah, right?
Yes. I think
Has he ever been in Inoki's group? Isn't Noah just so much smaller than New Japan, or is there some allegiance there, or why wouldn't he go to the biggest promotion in New Japan?
It's the same reason that Pac went to Dragon's Gate instead of New Japan. When it comes to Japanese companies, people have loyalties. Pac went back to Dragon's Gate, and wrestling in tiny buildings with low ceilings because that's where he wanted to be. That's where he made his name. Same with Kenta. He was Noah. I don't know if he ever worked with New Japan. They always do weird interpromotional matches, but Noah is home. And sometimes when you've been away for a very long time, you haven't been treated how you want to be treated. Sometimes you go where everybody knows your name.
Brainiacs, I gotta say, this is one of my favorite episodes of Brainbuster Radio of all time because we've said AEW, Noah, Impact, WWE, all the wrestling's being brought up, and I don't even have to be the one to do it. This is great. I love it. And Hideo Itami, the loyalty he'll show to Noah is admirable, and that's what it's all about, Triple J. These guys and these women, they don't do it for the money all the time. They want to show loyalty. They want to be themselves and just apply their trade, and Kenta's going to go do it. I'm excited to see where Ty Dillinger does it next. And TJP, I think, is the most exciting of the releases in his future because he is arguably the best technical wrestler in the entire world. He's the first cruiserweight champion. My fingers are almost breaking. I'm crossing them so hard that he joins All Elite Wrestling. I think he would be perfect for that promotion.
All those other guys are a bigger draw than him. I'll just say
the first cruiserweight champion, TJP, who has cool new arm tattoos, including a Jason Voorhees mask. Come on.
Maybe him and Vinny Marcellia can start a program. That would be interesting.
TJP, he's good looking. He could wrestle. He's got cool tats.
I'm not saying
from Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm
he's
not
a
saying
good talker.
I'm not saying anything negative about him. I'm just saying all those other guys that were released are a bigger draw and are going to be more in demand than him. Expect to see him at a Lakers, at a lot more Lakers games.
No chance in hell. That's a post down I would do right now if we had time because
you're telling me he's a bigger draw than Kenta or Ty Dillinger.
Definitely more than Ty Dillinger. Absolutely.
I disagree.
He's been around. You're talking about a PWG alum right there, man. TJ Perkins. I can't wait to see where he goes next. You know where I can't wait to see where he goes next as well, though, is a segue. What about our next video update from Kevin Owens? Where is the world's greatest dad going to take his kids next?
It's again a lot of questions I got on this. I'm confused. Moose the Mark, can you smarten me up? Wasn't this the same man that tried to paralyze the boss's son? The same man that held companies hostage? I mean, I half expected
he headbutted the chairman.
Yeah, what's he going to be doing next week? Playing miniature golf or I don't know.
He did all these things, so you got to understand, Kevin Owens is a prize fighter. Yeah, he'll beat up another guy's son. Yeah, he'll headbutt the boss, but that's just so he can make money to go buy his son new shoes.
We know it's always been about his family. That's, that has been consistent, but what are they trying to repackage him as? Like, it seems like him, actually, if they're looking for a new tag team partner for Titus O'Neil, Kevin Owens is the right guy.
The Super Dads.
The Super Dads. That would be amazing.
Maybe next week he could be like roller skating or ice skating. Or at an indoor tube city or something.
Well, I know Kevin Owens is a huge amusement park fan. I would not be surprised if the next vignette is coming to you live from, the Magic Kingdom in Orlando.
This is so refreshing to see WWE take us into a man's life to see what a actual great father he is. I have to admit, I've misunderstood Kevin Owens for a while and always thought he was kind of a jerk. But then you get to see he's a really good dad, Triple J. Maybe that's what they're trying to do here as Kevin Owens gets ready to return. Kevin Owens is just like a lot of us. He just wants to be a good father, be there for his family, and then go out there and headbutt his boss. Damn, you know what? Kevin Owens.
I guess so.
I bet if we had cell phones with video capabilities the way we do now when Stone Cold Steve Austin was being a pain in the McMahon's ass, I'm sure he would have had the exact same gimmick, right, Moose the Mark? We would have seen Austin at the movies with his kids talking about, coming back.
All right, here we are. Airbud 2 starts in just 5 minutes.
Man, I can't believe all the trailers. Movie's supposed to start at 2:15. We want the trailers for 40 minutes.
I got me a box of Mike and Ox, and we're going to raise some hell.
Yeah, man, this Kevin Owens thing. Only thing I wish this week. This is one of my favorite episodes, but Vin Man not being here to hear his reaction. What do you think he would say about Kevin Owens being the world's greatest dad as a gimmick?
I mean,
or it's not a gimmick. That's him. It's not a gimmick.
He wouldn't like Kevin Owens, regardless of what his gimmick was, unless he turned into a body guy.
The best thing about Kevin Owens is that he's the only WWE superstar who could do selfie videos at the movie theater, and nobody will approach him because he blends in so well.
He's not going to get swarmed by fans. What does this mean for Sami Zayn? What is he going to be doing coming back?
Who knows? Those two are eternally tied together. Maybe at one of these videos we'll see Sami Zayn attacking Kevin Owens and his children at a putt course, or he'll be. Oh, I'd like to see them racing some go-karts or something. That'd be cool. Yeah. All right. Well, Kevin Owens, you're a great father. This Father's Day, I'm gonna get my dad a Kevin Owens T-shirt. That's what I'm gonna do. That seems like a good Father's Day present this year. Before we get Moose the Marks Fighting With My Family review, the crazy news that came out right before we started recording this show, less than 24 hours ago, as of this live on tape, Brainbuster Radio, Bruce Prichard is rejoining WWE Creative. That's right, the host of the wildly popular but less tenured than BBR podcast, Something to Wrestle With. Bruce Prichard is back as Vince McMahon's lieutenant, Moose the Mark. A shockwave through the wrestling community.
I mean, this is huge. This is big. I mean, again, I don't know. I never really listened to Something to Wrestle With program or really any of Connor, whatever his stuff. I mean, I'm a Dave Meltzer guy, guys. I'm a Dave Meltzer guy. I really can't stand Bruce Prichard saying all this stupid shit and getting really dumb people on Twitter to yell at Dave over King Mabel being the third man in WCW or whatever. Like I'm not a big fan of how they do their programs, but you know what? Carney's gonna Carney, and this guy just used his podcast to kiss enough ass to get back into WWE, making $700,000 a year, helping Vince McMahon just make poopy and fart jokes. God bless him. More power to him.
You're not going to hear anything like that about one of the most popular and loved figures in wrestling podcasts today. Only on Brainbuster Radio will you get that kind of honesty coming straight from Moose the Mark. I'm a fan of the show, Something to Wrestle With, Moose, but a lot of what you just said, I could see the truth in a lot of it. Triple J, your reaction.
There's nothing I can say that's going to be more entertaining than that, whether it's right or wrong. So I'm just going to lay out.
Well, Bruce Prichard, let's get into. Let's get into what he could do with the WWE. Do you think a 55-year-old man joining the WWE with all the experience he has? Do you think that's an innovative hire that's going to make the show even better, especially with SmackDown going to Fox? Triple J.
I mean, I don't know. Is he just going to do the same booking decisions from 20 years ago? Which, if that's the case, they still may work. I don't know. I have listened to the program, but I am not subscribed to it, so I can't speak that much on Bruce Prichard and what his booking status or his power is going to be.
Well, they're saying it's going to be a lot like his previous role, so he's going to be heavily involved in producing big-time segments and writing some of the more important angles, and who knows the status of their podcast. Moose the Mark doesn't give a shit, but I bet you're happy that maybe this will have people ease up on Uncle Dave now that Bruce Prichard's not there to stoke the fires.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, Dave was a convenient little scapegoat for everything. I mean, that's just sort of how he got popular, was just shitting on another popular guy who, his hopeful future boss also didn't like. I mean, it's brilliant. This guy went from shilling Blue Chew to making $800,000 a year, like one of the biggest companies in the world, just by shitting on poor Dave Meltzer, who got, I don't know. It is what it is, folks. You can't, by the way, you can't take out the whole Undertaker appearing at StarCast as a major factor in this.
How do you mean there, Moose?
StarCast is affiliated with Connor. This is his whole gimmick.
Conrad, yes.
Conrad, whatever.
So how does this relate? How does this relate to Bruce Prichard?
Because Conrad is the host of Something to Wrestle with Bruce Prichard, which is how Conrad got famous. And now that Conrad is doing his other thing and signing Undertaker to do shit, Vince is like, well, I'll kill that stupid podcast. And he does that by making Bruce Prichard his number 2 guy. So
but the podcast might live on the WWE Network. Apparently a season 2's coming up on their WWE Network version of that show. We don't know the status of the regular podcast. It might come out by the time you Brainiacs are listening to this show, but yeah, that could be a reaction to, the freaking Undertaker is going to be, in the same city at the same time as Double or Nothing, and that's very dangerous for the WWE. But wow, this is some of the biggest. Is this some of the biggest insider behind the closed doors type of dirt kind of news that's come out in a long time? Would you say, Moose the Mark, in terms of something that has nothing to do with the on-air product, but just off-air creative hires? There hasn't been one like this in a while.
No, it's pretty much just been Vince as a one-man show for a very long time. Maybe it's good, It'll be good to have just someone else just a filter, right? Like that's sort of what people need, like Vince Russo needed Vince McMahon to keep his stupid ideas in check, and now Vince McMahon needs someone to keep his dumb ideas in check.
Do you think Vince McMahon was listening to Something to Wrestle With and was like, "Hot damn, I made a lot of mistakes. I got to bring that guy back to keep me in check"?
I'm not sure Vince McMahon understands the concept of a podcast.
As seen by him putting them televised on the WWE Network. And they are available nowhere as a podcast, usually. Let's go to Moose the Mark's page film review. Now, what role does Xavier Woods have in her new film?
There's almost no other WWE superstars in this film. There's a brief cameo from two current main roster superstars, actually 3.
I heard that Zelina Vega plays AJ Lee in the film.
Yeah, she plays AJ Lee, except like not AJ Lee. Her character is named AJ Lee. She comes out to that music. No Tamina, by the way, and she's just wearing like traditional diva gear, no denim shorts or any t-shirt, because that kind of destroys the narrative of the film, where it's single-handedly Paige who like invented the concept of not being a bikini model and being a wrestler. You know what I mean? They had to change history to make AJ Lee a stereotypical diva to make their story work. And it's very strange.
So they wanted to sexualize AJ Lee more, maybe. You're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, couldn't they have just taken her out and just put any generic, any generic name in there wearing a sexy outfit?
And they didn't have a problem doing that with everyone else. Like, okay, so Florida Championship Wrestling like has kind of been mixed into NXT. It's just Paige goes right to NXT, but instead of hanging out with like, Charlotte or Becky or Alexa Bliss, who to be fair wasn't in Florida Championship Wrestling when Paige was training, she hangs out with like 3 fitness models and cheerleaders who are like becoming wrestlers that are not anyone we know about. Not even like fictionalized versions of them.
So are you saying that this is a dangerous film because it's revisionist history? Is this something that wrestling fans should watch, or do you think this is going to change the minds of people?
Good movie. It's just like I had a very hard time separating the fiction from reality, just because reality happened not that long ago, and I was watching it on TV as it happened. Like Paige, like this movie makes it seem like Paige's match with AJ Lee on the Raw after WrestleMania was like her first ever match on live TV ever. And like it completely ignores the fact that she was NXT champion for 2 fucking years.
I was going to say, how much do they talk about NXT as we know it now?
Not at all. NXT, as it is in this movie, is a gym inside a hotel where all the divas live and hang out in a rooftop pool, and then they go downstairs and work out in a small gym, and that's a performance center. And NXT is just does house shows with like leering men in the crowd who heckle women and don't let them get over. It's very, very weird.
Okay, so
like you have to abandon any kind of reality or notion you have about the actual real story and just go into a movie world. You're saying when you see this film.
Yeah, and that's fine, but again, it's just so weird. Like, okay, it's 2011, and Paige goes to a SmackDown taping, and it's the SmackDown live set with the giant HD Titantron, and AJ Styles is in the ring warming up with like, I don't know, someone I couldn't tell. They were filmed from a distance. So it's just kind of stuff like that. Like, I don't know, most movies that are set in the past just kind of try to make it a reasonable facsimile of the past, but this really doesn't. Like, Paige isn't even wearing her same gear like during her championship match with AJ Lee. Again, no mention of being NXT champion. Like the crowd was super hot for Paige. She was super over when she debuted on Raw. It was a huge deal, but the movie makes it like, oh, we never heard of her. Let's hear her give a promo. And then she doesn't give a promo because she's too scared. And then she beats AJ and everyone loves her. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense within the story.
Would a non-wrestling fan enjoy this movie?
Yes, absolutely. A non-wrestling
that's what
fan.
Matters. Okay. That's what matters. You
underdog story in the vein of Little Giants or Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, no, I'd say that's cool. That's a reasonable comparison. Also, the stuff in England with her family and her brother is very interesting. Very, just good carny, Norwich, England lifestyle.
Can you understand what they're saying?
Yeah, no, you can understand what they're saying. It's very legible.
Is the actress who plays Paige, does she do Paige here? Or
no, she does not do Paige here.
Is she as thick of an accent as Paige?
No, her accent. I didn't think her accent like really sounded like Paige's at all, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, that's very inauthentic film, but entertaining nonetheless. Fighting with My Family in theaters now. Moose the Marks, thorough review there, Brainiacs. We love wrestling movies, and we look forward to talking more about wrestling movies, maybe on some the return of Mystery Wrestling Theater if it ever comes back, but we're in talks with the Marburgers. Last thing here in headlines, DX is going into the Hall of Fame. Every member who was ever in DX except Rick Rude. Triple J going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, Tori's not.
Tori, yeah, you're right.
Official,
sorry. Yeah, she was. She's not. So I'm sorry. I excluded Tori.
And Mike Tyson's already in. So
yeah, Mike Tyson's in, and
yeah, I mean, definitely, absolutely deserving. I mean, really, they could have gone. They can go in any year, and I don't think it makes a difference whether they go in this year or 5 years from now or 10 years from now. Perhaps the only thing we need to talk about is the badass Billy Gunn working for that other startup promotion, but he's still going to be there, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he will. And WWE usually doesn't care about that. This is a big moment for Billy Gunn. And the other thing, though, is a lot of people want to find something to be angry about, so they're angry that China's going in with a group rather than as a solo competitor, Moose the Mark. Is there an issue there? Can that be rectified one day with her solo induction?
Of course it can. You're going to get that's why they do these groups, so you could get 2 bites at the apple. You think Triple H is not going to get inducted as a solo performer someday?
I don't know. He's on the bubble. You're right. The people who are mad about that, I just found kind of silly. China will get her day, but DX going in together. The big question for that night isn't if Billy Gunn shows up. It is if do you think poop will fall on anybody from the sky, Moose the Mark?
I don't know if poop will fall from the sky, but I think there's going to be a lot of bright green glow sticks being made into a Vegas form in the crowd.
We'll sell a lot of them, I think.
Well, Brainiacs, that does it for this week's headlines in the world of professional wrestling. There's so much more, but we covered a whole lot there for you. Tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it, be all about it, and drop us any insider info if you got any. We don't have to be afraid of being ridiculed by Bruce Prichard on his podcast anymore, so we can break more news and make things up without being called assholes or attacked on Twitter, right, Moose? It's a new day for wrestling journalism.
Oh yeah, the brave watchdog of the wrestling journalism industry is retired.
Quote unquote wrestling journalism, right, Moose?
Yeah.
All right, Brainiacs, it's time to wrap things up the only way we know how, and that is with Falls Counting Anywhere.
There's a lot of things on WWE television that I'd like to see, such as blue steel cages or inferno matches, but really the chance of those is very, very slim. Something that we have not seen for a while that is still in their wheelhouse is a good old-fashioned hair versus hair match. Now, this could be man on man, woman on woman, or man on woman, or even tag teams. But we haven't seen this for a while, and obviously the number one candidate for this would be the new Daniel Bryan. The head, the beard, the whole damn thing. And as you look through this roster, there's a lot of guys that could participate in this, whether it's Elias, Jeff Hardy, both of the Usos, Braun Strowman. The list goes on and on. Matt Hardy, Mustafa Ali, Nia Jax, Nikki Cross, Heavy Machinery. This is something that always makes for great television, great storytelling, and it could even rejuvenate someone's career. So how about let's get a good old-fashioned hair versus hair match sometime in 2019.
Brainiacs. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about the world outside pro wrestling, because this evening we are going to be privileged enough to witness the Academy Awards. I don't know exactly what number it is, but it's a big one. It almost rivals WrestleMania. And tonight, there's so many incredible films up for awards, some of which I've actually seen. We all know Spider-Man is going to walk away with Best Animated Feature. But what is going to win Best Picture this year? Is it going to be Roma? Will it be The Favorite? Will it be Black Panther, the first superhero movie to be a real contender for Best Picture? Will it be A Star is Born, the amazing remake with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, who will be performing their song Shallow live on stage for the first time ever? You want to talk about a big fight feel? The Oscars has it all, but while it has theatrics and pageantry, what it doesn't have is integrity, because I still have not forgiven the Academy for snubbing the Darren Aronofsky masterpiece, The Wrestler, and Mickey Rourke's heart-wrenching performance as Randy the Ram Ranzinski. Since that day when that film lost to Milk and Mickey Rourke lost to Sean Penn, I mean, clearly the Academy had no legitimacy, but I'm still going to watch the red carpet, the award ceremonies, the performances, all the magical, unforgettable moments. Join the conversation on Twitter at Brainbuster Oscars, hashtag Brainbuster Oscars 2019.
Brainiacs, the road to WrestleMania, it's paved with bumps, it's paved with turns, and it's paved with all kinds of unexpected craziness. And we've come to that moment on our journey that seemingly comes every single year where plans get changed. And now Long Island Iced Tea has to figure out a way to get into the Rahway Rec Center, in Rahway, New Jersey, on the Thursday before WrestleMania, April 4th, because, to put it bluntly, the craziest fucking dream match of all time is going to be happening at Impact United We Stand. That's right, Impact Wrestling United We Stand, which will be live on the Fight app. You gotta be there for this one. It is fucking insane. We are going to see the Lucha Bros, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix, take on the duo of Rob Van Dam and Sabu. That's right, the homicidal, suicidal, death-defying, insane motherfucker Sabu and his partner Rob Van Dam teaming up to take on possibly the best tag team in the world right now, the Lucha Bros, for Impact Wrestling. We're just talking about a former Impact World Champion, ECW champions in this match. We're talking about two of the hottest professional luchadors in the world. I have to be there for it. Brainiacs, WrestleMania weekend. That your plans are going to change. This is another reason. Always be on your toes on the road to the biggest weekend of the entire year. Triple J, you want to go to WrestleMania a little bit earlier than planned with me?
Are you working us, or is that a real match?
Why would I make? I only tell honest truths. April 4th.
Where's this taking place at?
Rahway Rec Center, April 4th. United We Stand, Impact Wrestling, featuring the Lucha Bros against RVD and Sabu.
I know we might have to talk off air about that, because that's something to go see.
Moose the Mark. Man, it was great having you on this week, even though you got a little crazy sarcastic at times, but I have to say it's a breath of fresh air whenever we could have your honest opinions on serious topics like fighting with my family and Bruce Prichard. Thank you, good brother.
Oh, thank you, sir. It was a pleasure as always.
Has anything left to get off your chest before we get out of here?
Not really, man. I just can't wait for breakfast.
You guys want to join me in a group prayer real quick that the big dog is put on the WrestleMania card on Monday?
Real quick, sure.
On three, can I just get a big dog? 1, 2, 3. Big dog. That's it, Brainiacs 4. Moose the Mark on the internet gimmicks. Jumpin' Jacob J. Dr. Mil Calzones on the Unos and Doses. The Sultan of social media man called Wired. Vidman on limited dates. And Long Island Iced Tea. I'm Long Island Iced Tea saying I gotta get the hell out of here and pray up for the big dog.